So, why don't you tell me about the retreat experience for you, what you experienced, how you transformed, anything that you want to share?
I think it was an answered prayer because I had been praying for about a year for messages. I wanted concrete messages. I wanted direction, and I wanted it to be tangible. I called my husband and I said, "I'm going to this retreat." I didn't ask. I told him. I said, "I'm going to this retreat," and I'd never done anything like that. I do think it was in my alignment, and I answered the call, so to speak, and everything came into alignment, and it was easy. I walked in that morning with an open heart, an open mind, and not a clue what was going to transpire.
And what transpired?
Pretty much, I was blown away. It was a peak experience for me. I've had other peak spiritual experiences, but it was definitely a peak spiritual experience for me, and one that will always reside in my heart.
It's beautiful. You're bringing tears to my eyes.
When I met the group, they were extremely giving and kind and like minded, kindred spirits. You and Max were lovely. And after we opened with the Council for Heaven on Earth, after they were so generous to me and so giving, there just weren't any barriers after that for me personally. I feel like people are sort of like onions, and Max is kind of very adept and an expert of kind of unpeeling that onion. The retreat, sort of on a personal level for me, was almost like a ceremonial way to do that in a group context with leaders that were assuring that it was a safe environment for everyone.
Could you share a little bit about your perception of dissociative identity disorder before the retreat and then your understanding of it post-retreat?
So I did have two separate states other than myself, or I do, depending on how one wants to look at it. But basically, it's just that most people are more integrated and they're working as a whole. And unfortunately, that was not my experience. And I have never experienced being totally integrated. I've been told by good people in the field of psychiatry that I have bipolar in addition to DID. So what has happened was just is essentially acceptance. So the retreat was not a miracle in the sense that, okay, you're cured, you don't have DID anymore, and you no longer have to take the medication. What did happen is I accepted. And it took me, and apparently it's a very advanced thing to do because I hadn't done it for 55 years. So apparently it's a very advanced thing to do because I'm a very spiritual person and I've done a lot of spiritual things, but it had never happened until your retreat. So I have to believe that your retreat helped me get to acceptance. And also the messages that I heard from the Council from Heaven on Earth and the message I heard from Prime Creator also conveyed that. Accept.
Can I share the message that was given to you?
Yeah.
You have this experience or diagnosis because your sole mission on this planet is to balance polarity. And this is a very courageous, brave way to execute a soul mission like this.
I have to believe that there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And that it has to be under the context of spirituality because that's all I know.
Yeah, I get it.
It's spiritual. That's all I know. So it has to be within that.
Yeah. Have you noticed any changes in your everyday life since the retreat, since the acceptance?
I lost 10 pounds. I was trying to lose weight forever.
What do you attribute the weight loss to? How did that happen?
Well, I think it opened up a space, the retreat, I will say, the retreat opened up a space where my husband got me on this app, and now I'm basically counting calories, but before the retreat, I would have said no. I would have said, that's not for me. I'm above that. I don't count calories. now in my acceptance mode, I'm like, yes, I can do that, and it works. So I think acceptance. I'm back to acceptance.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So it's not always the sparkly things, the shiny and sparkly things that can move mountains. I have recognized that in the retreat. That for me, what I bring away from it long term is not the shiny and sparkly. It's just something as fundamental as acceptance.
You know, Rose, I love that you said that. I love that you said that. And the reason is that, yeah, sometimes when people think of transformation, they think of these like huge experiences, which can happen. But what you have done is you've built your foundation, like you've added a piece to your foundation. And so
Yeah.
what you've experienced is sustainable for you. It's not like this big hoopla experience that, may or may not fade away in a few months. You've
Well, I did have
integrated.
the hoopla experience in the channeled message. I must admit I did have that, but even though I got the big message, the big acknowledgement, thank you, but it's all about being grounded.
Yeah.
We still have to. You can go as high as you want to go, but you've got to be grounded as well.
Yeah.
So
And integrated.
that's the part that you take home, and you can maybe you learn some tricks of the trade where you can go higher and higher, but you also ground yourself and make it work on the day to day.
It's so important. I
Yeah,
love
it's
that.
really important.
I love that we're talking about this because it is so important if you do have a big, expansive experience to then learn how to integrate it. And that's what you've done. In your everyday life, you now work with acceptance. You're practicing that. For someone with a diagnosis of DID to say I'm integrating in my life day to day, I think that's pretty huge.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think so too. And I do have to mention at this point the group, because I think my experience of the group they were very mature spiritually, very advanced folks, very much individuals, and they were very open and accepting and lovely people, lovely people. And I carry them with me going forward. I'm really glad I got to meet everybody at the retreat.
And each and every one of them took the agreements seriously. The agreements we made at the beginning for confidentiality, for a sacred safe space, all the agreements we made together, everyone took that seriously and really contributed to that sacred space. Thank you so much, Rose, for everything you shared. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Susie. Have a good day.